And we're back.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unturned Pages.
What's up with that deep voice today?
I don't know. I've had something weird going off my throat lately, so I don't know. Call it seasonal, call it whatever you want to.
Seasonal funness.
Oh, yeah. So much fun.
Tonight we have Kyle from the Right Hill Mansion out in New Jersey with us. He's the vice president of it. I'm super excited because it's one of the locations on my bucket list of places to check out on the East Coast. But
because you don't have enough of those already.
No, like it's not like 10 pages long, you know. It's just
no.
That never-ending list of places I want to go when I
move
up.
That between May and September, you're not going to be crossing off like 10 of them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know in May the biggest one is Penhurst, so I'm super excited.
Now, were you actually investigating, or are you just going to the con?
Con, but I think I'll probably. I think Sunday during the day they allow the vendors to go in and investigate too. So but I'll probably end up buying a ticket for the night investigation just to say I've investigated.
Yeah, I've never been there, and I used to live so close to it, and we're so close to it when we go to Gettysburg every time. I still haven't stopped there yet.
Well, hopefully, maybe this year. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
I am staying an extra day in Gettysburg, so
yay!
More time to travel home.
Yeah, more travel, and you don't have to rush home. Type of thing.
Exactly.
So tonight, like I said, we have Kyle on, so let's bring him on. There we are.
Hey,
hi,
guys.
Kyle.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. Can't complain.
All warm and toasty over there in New Jersey compared to here in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's nice and toasty. It's about 30 degrees. It's great.
Oh, lucky you. We're negative whatever with the negative wind chill, so.
Negative too cold. That's what it is.
Yeah, negative too cold for my blood. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
And Jenny, you grew up in this your entire life. I mean, come on.
Yeah, don't you get used to it at all?
You know what? No, I'm not used to it, and I don't like it. That's why I keep saying I want to move to the East Coast.
No, you don't. Because you know what? In Ohio, where I grew up, if it dropped below 20 degrees, that was still hoodie weather. We didn't wear coats.
You know, okay. You just don't want me to move out to the East Coast so I can't bug you every day.
Guilty.
Guilty. That's the reason he does not want me to move to the East Coast, because he doesn't want to see me on the weekend.
Because I know you and Bonnie would be up in Salem every weekend.
Boom. There. Done that. Yes, definitely. So,
well, Kyle, looks like you got quite a following going on here.
Yeah, it looks like I got some fans out there. What's up, everyone?
You got some good friends out here watching us on YouTube.
They're piling in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. Tonight we'll be talking about the Right Hill Mansion and Kyle's paranormal journey, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, tell us a little about yourself before we dive into the Right Hill Mansion.
Okay. Well, my name's Kyle from New Jersey. Don't hold it against me. But I started my journey into the paranormal kind of unconventionally. I started pretty much. I loved history. That was my main draw to all this. And I'm from right outside of Trenton, New Jersey, which is the capital of New Jersey. It's a small town, Bordentown, and right next to it is Fieldsboro. Fieldsboro is one of the smallest boroughs in New Jersey, and that's where White Hill Mansion happens to be. And I have a lot of family roots that go way back, even into the 1700s. So I just love the history of the local area, and I kind of found this place and started volunteering it, and that's kind of what got me involved into the paranormal. But I initially didn't even I thought the paranormal was cool, watched the shows and stuff, but it wasn't my main reason to go there. I just saw this house, saw the amazing history, and saw that it needed help. And just jumped into action. So that's how I got started. So I'm an avid history lover, now paranormal investigator, and just love it.
So let's dive into the house itself. I know reading about it kind of predates like the Revolutionary War in the U.S. Can you talk about like the timeline of this amazing location?
Yeah, so this place, White Hill Mansion, has so much history. It was there in about 1723, that house that's on the screen right now isn't the house that was there in the 1720s. The family who built that house, the original settlers of Fieldsboro, which Fieldsboro was named after the Fields family, they had a house there in 1723. We don't know where it is, but there were 3 generations of Fields. They all were named.
Wait. I don't mean to interrupt you. What do you mean you don't know where it is?
We don't know where it is on the property. So
okay, all right. I was
we
gonna
have,
it's just up and vanished.
no, there's no record of it. There's a record that they lived on the property and they had a house, but there's no record where on the property it was, and there's nothing still remaining to be found right now. So we're hoping to find it eventually. So, but right now we don't know. But we do know that this house was built by Robert II in 1750, 1760. He was very wealthy. He was very prominent in the community. He was politically and socially connected. He was a part of the correspondence committee, which was the way that all the colonies kind of kept in touch and kind of kept all organized, during the lead up to the American Revolution. They had over 600 acres in their initial property, and it was just this amazing plantation, basically. But basically what happened was Robert Fields, like I said, was a part of that correspondence committee. And the Delaware River sits directly behind the house. And Pennsylvania is right on the other side. So we're right on the border, New Jersey and Pennsylvania. He had a lot of business dealings down in Philadelphia. So one night in January of 1775, Robert II went down on one of his boats down to Philadelphia. Now, allegedly, the stories are, it's a big mystery that he went down to have a business meeting or one of these correspondence committee meetings, but he never came back. His body was found 5 days later. He was allegedly drowned. We don't really know. The reports we got were he had a gash on his head and water in his lungs. We kind of think of the political climate of the area at the time and how prominent he was. They kind of brushed it under the rug as an accidental drowning. But there are some rumors that it could have been politically or business related. But that left his wife, Mary, pregnant with their 7th child to run all of his properties. And basically the American Revolution broke out pretty much on her front doorstep. We kind of call her the matriarch of the mansion because she's a big reason why the mansion's still there. She was visited by the British during the Revolutionary War. They thought she was harboring rebels. She was visited by the Hessians, who were hired mercenaries that fought on the British's behalf. Right before Washington crossed to Delaware, she hosted the Hessians at the house. Yeah, so it's a pretty amazing, just in the Revolutionary time period. She was able to get protection orders from the British, from the Hessians, and then later from even the Americans because she remarried a Continental Navy captain later on in the war.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a big reason why we think the house is still there because, she was very smart in how she navigated all those different things. And New Jersey, a lot of people don't know, that was a lot of battles and a lot of George Washington was in New Jersey most of the war. So it was a hotbed of activity. So it's kind of amazing that the house is still there. And the Fields had it for about 80 years. After the Fields in the 1800s, there was multiple families that lived. It was a private residence. That's a cool picture from the 1900s that shows how many times the mansions had so many renovations. So it used to be a colonial house. Now it's a grand Victorian mansion. So it was a family residence in the 1800s all the way up till about 1922. And in 1922, it became a restaurant. And it was a restaurant from 1922 all the way up to 1992 when it finally shut down. So,
oh, wow.
That's like the Cliff Notes of White Hill. There's so much history. We've done 2 archaeological digs. We just did another one last month. So we're still waiting for the findings on that. But they did find that in those 2 other digs that they found over 20,000 artifacts on the property.
Oh, wow.
And they determined that before any European settlers were in the area, this was Lenape Native American land. So we've got pretty much a snapshot of American history all in this one property before it was a nation with the indigenous people all the way up to modern times. So it's a really cool property that pretty much has seen everything that America's been through. So
that's interesting. Really, it kind of reminds me of like the Oliver House that Russ took me to a couple of years ago, with how much history one house can have with American history.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me. I've been there for about 5 years, and just in 5 years, how much research that we've discovered that's kind of changed the story too.
Mm-hmm.
History is always evolving. We're always learning new
Always.
things, finding new things out. So
Yeah.
Now, with your archaeological digs that you've done, have you ever found any, trying to the musket balls or anything like that on the property, or artifacts that may lead to revolutionary or anything like that?
So, not to my knowledge directly. I know in one of the first digs, the archaeologists found the old remnants of the outhouse, and they were so excited because back in colonial times, that's where you threw all your trash. Like if you had broken dishes, anything, you just threw down there. So they found a lot of everyday houseware kind of stuff, which kind of showed them how the Fields family lived, how wealthy they were, fine china. We do have historical reports that during the Revolutionary War, the British did come up and they did attack the next town over. And they did land at Whitehill, and there was a small skirmish. But other than that, we really don't know. We've never actually found any remnants of that. But the historians, they think if it was whatever kind of skirmish it was probably like local militia came to meet them, held them up for a little bit, and then fell back until the regular army could come around.
So when it was a restaurant, did it have any like mobster ties to it? Like,
oh yeah,
oh come on, you got to go Jersey on them. Come on.
Oh yeah. So in 1922, the guy who bought the mansion and turned it into a restaurant, his name was Heinrich Glink. He was a German immigrant. He worked down in Trenton during the early 1900s. And he got pretty friendly with all the big politicians and whatnot. So we think that's a good reason why he was able to buy this big mansion and turn it into a restaurant. But his family owned it from 1922 all the way to 1972. So they ran it successfully for 50 years. But he did put a speakeasy in the basement during Prohibition. He dug the basement out 3 feet by hand, put this whole old English tap room, he called it. Everyone knew it was there. And then that's where we get a lot of our stories of the mobsters coming around, because even today it's kind of off the beaten path. So in the 30s it was less developed, no one could find you, and that's what a lot of the rumors of the mobsters said. It was a great place, no one could find us, and the food was great. So
yeah, it was kind of off the beaten path. No one's going to come looking for you unless they have a reason, and there was never a reason given.
Correct. Yep. And it's right on the Delaware River, so strategically you can go right to Pennsylvania. Everyone can kind of get there. It's kind of in a very strategic spot. There were 2 tunnels that ran from the basement down to the Delaware River right behind the house that dated back to colonial times. Now they were they collapsed in the 60s and were filled in, but the local stories we heard is that they used them for move illegal alcohol up and down the local river towns, kind of store them.
Interesting.
So it's really, really cool property.
I know Jackie has asked, she's investigated 4 times. They keep getting a female spirit named Annika. Does that mean anything to you guys, history-wise or activity-wise?
So the name Annika doesn't hit on anything directly with the history, but it's so hard with a house with our history, because our history is so unique, because it's been there for 300 years. We know some of the families that live there, but just in the restaurant years, there was probably thousands of people that came there. Even in the 1800s, we know the people who own the house, like on paper from historical documents, but we don't know if they actually lived there or they rented it out, because the papers really aren't that accurate. So it's hard with names. But I don't know. That's what keeps me coming back to Whitehill and keep investigating, because it's always changing. There's always something new. So
I know Cindy asks, isn't it true that the immediate area around the mansion is haunted as well?
So the property is kind of unique, because it was 600 acres officially back in the day, 1700s, and it was sold off over the years. But the whole town of Fieldsboro was the Fields property, 600 acres. Now it's only a town of, I think, 300 people, so it's really small. But right around directly around the mansion, that's where we get a lot of the reports of Native American activity. People have seen full body apparitions of Native American men. I've actually seen what looked like a hand coming out of like the brush line.
Oh wow!
went right back into the brush line, but there was it didn't move any leaves, it didn't make any sound, and it's like a thicket in there. So I know it wasn't a person. So yeah, around the outside of the property can be very active. I think more with the Native Americans from the reports.
So it kind of sounds a little bit like Hinsdale, where the property itself has that Native American ties and things like that as well.
Yep. Yeah. It's a conglomerate. Yeah, kind of like Hinsdale.
I've yet to been to Hinsdale yet. I get to go in July, so I'll experience that for the first time this summer. I'm super excited.
Jen, maybe I'll drive out and visit you over at Hinsdale because I've never been there before either.
I've told you you can come. I've invited you to both Hinsdale and Wildwood, and I told you didn't have to worry about money.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's covered. You already know how I pay for Wildwood, so I won that one. So with like Native Americans, do you believe that you could be the land or the house could be having some like elemental hauntings as well, or?
I mean, it's very possible. I've never experienced anything elemental in it, but we definitely have enough of the history going back that far it very well possibly could. I mean, just the Native Americans goes back probably at the earliest the 1600s and on, earlier than that. So it's very possible. It's just it's one of those places that when you pull up to it, you kind of can just get that feeling, it's got that vibe to it.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking from the photos I've been seeing online, I'm like, you can tell there's some activity. Like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out like on the way home from Gettysburg if I can make it like on the route home to stop it.
No, you're gonna have to go east to west if you're doing that. Are you guys driving to Gettysburg?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to go completely east just to go back west.
Okay, I don't know.
You'll have to get very lost and then find your way.
I was gonna say very lost. Yeah. I was trying to figure it out in my head, like looking at maps. I'm like, is it possible to make it stop there?
I'd be easier to go down there because my route to Gettysburg actually takes me through Jersey.
I wonder if on the way from
Are you guys coming up to Mass before you go to Gettysburg, or are you guys just going straight to Wildwood and then we'll talk about this later?
Yeah, I was gonna say we have to go to New York before
in there for the planning. This is great.
You know what, Kyle?
Dude,
I'll tell you. I leave, I believe, July 13th to head down to July 21st.
I was gonna say
to head down to Gettysburg, and if I'm in the area, I'll hit you up, and I'll definitely see if I can pop in for a day tour or something.
Yeah, shoot me a message. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I have to leave Minnesota. Let me see.
Like July 1st?
The event's not until the 25th.
Well, it's only Bonnie and Chris driving, so I mean,
I could probably be there in like a day if it's Chris driving. I have to leave the 20th of July. I have Hinsdale the 22nd and Wildwood the 23rd, and then Gettysburg the 25th.
You guys got to make it down here.
I know. It's like there's so many places on the East Coast that I need to go to, and it's just like just gotta get like a whole like 2 months off and just spend the whole 2 months there. I'll be good.
Absolutely.
So has the house like had any like deaths within it, like any? Yeah,
so
documented tragedies on the property or in the house themselves.
So we only know of 4 natural deaths in the house in 300 years. We're sure there's more than that, but we just don't have the documentation
documented.
But that's the 4 we know of natural causes. But like I said, the house has been there for 300 years. There's so much that's happened though. There's so much habitation all the time there that we just don't know. Mary Fields she had 7 children. Only 3 lived to adulthood. So we don't know if the kids passed on the property or not. We have no idea. We do know that they died between the ages of 2 and 10. but the records just aren't that complete. We do have somebody who's actually actively researching that, and it's kind of leading in that they probably did die on the property. But we can't just prove it yet. So I guess the easiest answer is there's 4 natural deaths unknown. Not to our knowledge of anything tragic or horrible murders or anything like that. It was a family home for most of its life, and then it was a restaurant. So to the best of our knowledge, only 4, but I'm sure there's way more than that.
Interesting. I would assume there'll be a lot more than that with
the
Revolutionary War and stuff.
I'm sure.
I was going to say that, like you bringing it up earlier, that it was a speakeasy and everything like that. There had to have been some shady things going on prior to that weren't, that let's just say, so to say, swept under the rug.
Yeah. So it's kind of a tough thing because all the families that ran the restaurant, so from 1922 all the way to 1972, the Glink family, they lived in the house. They lived on the 2nd floor when it was a restaurant. Every other family also lived there. So we don't know. There's no real documentation. That we only hear rumors and stories, but I also don't think like they're out there, making mob hits and then, little Johnny's in the next room over there, but we don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
We don't know. But most of the activity that I've always experienced has always been like, there's nothing negative. It's always kind of happy, kind of, they want to interact with you. They're very intelligent. They're super intelligent.
So most of the haunting is intelligent, or do you think there's some resident?
There's some, there's definitely some residual. But I think a lot of people ask me all the time is, who's haunting it? And I've been there 5 years. Some of our other volunteers have been there a little longer. Dawn, our president, she's been there 11. We're still trying to figure out what the hauntings are. So my theory, and I'm no expert, this is just my theory from my experiences and whatnot, is there's a small group of spirits that kind of hang there. And they're there because they want to be. And then there's spirits that come in from wherever. They pop in, they hang out, because sometimes people come out and they'll be like, hey, I'm experiencing this. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with what it is. So it's kind of, for me as a kind of a location owner, because we're a 100% nonprofit organization. So all the money that we bring in goes right back into the house to save the history and preserve it. But it's cool for me because it's always evolving. You get some of the same activity, but it's always different. It's always exciting. I love when people come in, have an experience, and they come and tell me, and I'm like, that's White Hill weird for you.
So
I've seen that already a couple times in the chat. It's the White Hill weird thing going on.
Yeah, it's just when I think, I'm like, okay, I kind of figured out the hauntings here. And then
they twist it on you.
And I'm like, never mind. I don't know who that is. It is crazy.
I don't know where I am anymore.
Yep. It's crazy.
Kind of like a time portal. Like you just don't know what time portal you're going to end up in that night.
And that's cool that you bring that up, because a lot of times when you're going through the house, even during the day or investigating, you can kind of feel like you're almost going through different time periods, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you'll be investigating, you'll be like, I feel like we're talking to someone that might be from the colonial times. Then you go to the 2nd floor and you're like, this is somebody here from like the 1940s. Like what? Like that's how it kind of just goes. It's just like whatever wants to interact. It's just a really unique, fun, haunted place.
Now, locations like this, I always think of the show Ghosts.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna
where
say
you
that.
have like different ghosts from different time periods, and it would be such a great thing to see them like mingle in like that time sphere of like.
Yeah, I always think that, like, I call it the core group of spirits. I think they're more intelligent. I think they know why we're there and like why people come through, why they investigate this to raise money. I think they understand it. And I always want to be like, do they work with us? Like, is this some kind of like cohesive kind of team?
Hey, we're going to get $1,500 from helping this group out. Let's do it.
It's so cool sometimes. When Ghost Hunters came and filmed, before they came, I went in the house and I was like, hey guys, I don't know how this works, but we got really cool people coming in. It'll really help the house. You know, if you really could come out and interact with them, that would be great. And they came in and they were like, this place is incredible. We've gotten the most disembodied voices we've gotten in a long time. And I was like, man, I guess they really do listen. It's really, really cool.
Now, how many shows have actually filmed at White Hill now? Because you've had
So,
Ghost Hunters, Project Fear, Project Fear,
no,
Destination Fear.
I don't think they didn't come.
They haven't come yet.
We've had
Jenny, get on that.
We've had
Yeah, I'll use my connections, you know.
Paranormal Lockdown with Katrina and Nick Roth. They were like the first ones that put us on the map. We did Most Terrifying Places on Travel Channel. There's another one too, kind of on the same lines as that. I forget the name of it, but the kind of same thing. Like they show a whole bunch of different haunted locations and highlight each one.
Oh, my ghost story.
Yeah. So Most Terrifying Places and
kind of like a 5 to 7 minute blurb.
Yeah. Countless YouTube shows. And then Ghost Hunters came, and I think in 2019 or 2020, 21, I forget.
So that was with Daryl and them, right?
No, that was when they came back.
Okay, all right. I've kind of lost track over the time how they've switched out.
That was when Jason and the original crew came back. Turns, I think, was the name of it. So
yeah, we're getting a lot of shout outs in the chat about how you've been on Ghost Hunters. You're a celebrity. They want your autograph.
I was on Ghost Hunters. I have an IMDb page with it. So it's cool.
What can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do? Like,
it was a cool experience, though. They really came in and they really do care about the history. And it's amazing what they came through, and they experienced a lot of stuff. So if you haven't seen that episode, check it out.
I'll have to go look for that episode.
And you brought up something earlier about a lot of YouTube shows being there now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And a lot of people are sleeping on these YouTube shows these days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's the new, these networks, Discovery, History, things like that. They're not picking up on the paranormal shows anymore. So people are resorting. I really wouldn't say resorting. I would say finding alternate means to get the content out there. Exactly. And YouTube has really become a big thing. And people are like, oh, TikTok, this, that, everything else. And I think, honestly, it's kind of, depending on the person in the group, are still keeping the history alive in these locations.
Exactly. I mean, most of our fundraising comes from the paranormal community. I mean, without the paranormal community, our project would be probably 10 years behind. And I mean, it's a 300-year-old mansion that set. Thanks, Dustin. Yeah, I'll get you an autograph. It's sat vacant for a while, so it needs its help. And without the paranormal program, like, historical preservation is a tough thing. There is money in it and there's funding, but there's not enough. And without the paranormal community keeping the history alive, I mean, that's our bread and butter. I mean, that's what keeps people coming in. They get interested in the history. They come in for the ghosts, but once I tell them the history and once we explain it to them, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, we need to help save this. And it's just that whole, like you said, kind of like the YouTube is changing the historical world too, because like, museums are still cool, but the younger generation and the younger people aren't coming to museums anymore. They're not coming into that setting. Like, this is the setting now where we can really do some really good help and help save a lot of historical locations through the paranormal.
An unpopular opinion for me is I had, when I first started, this was almost 30 years ago in the paranormal field. But coming, I would say within the last 10 years, you'd have these people on YouTube and Vine and everything like that were doing urban exploration, breaking into abandoned properties, things like that. Now, I have heard a handful of stories of people that have seen these locations on these YouTubes and things like that, and then actually invested their money and time into bringing them back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was a very steadfast of, you're breaking the law. This is not what we do. And now I'm starting to see, like, maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel for these kind of thing. So, I've seen it happen multiple times up here in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. So,
the biggest thing I can say is kind of a PSA, I guess you could say, is, follow your local rules. Get a lot of these people are going to be like, yeah, go in there. Who cares? Just be safe, do whatever you need to do, but don't get hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So what is like the layout of the house right now? Like,
so the layout of the house is, we've got 3 floors and a basement. It's very linear. in colonial times, colonial houses were just a square box. But over the years, there's been so many renovations of the restaurant, even in the Victorian era. So they blew out a lot of the back of the house, put some additions on in the front, and they reworked the inside of the house. So it kind of has a maze feel to it sometimes. There's a lot of staircases. There's a lot of staircases we don't use anymore. It's a really cool house. And you look on the outside and it looks big, but once you get inside, it's a lot bigger than you think. It's roughly, I did terrible math, so it's probably about 6,500 square feet, roughly. I'll give them.
Oh wow!
There, so
now, what for? Oh, sorry, Jenny. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
For people who want to come out and investigate, what is like the cost and I must have bad lesson mine here.
That was my next question. Literally my next question.
Yeah, so we're open. Like I said, we're a group of volunteers, so we try to keep the house open as much as we can. But if you go to whitehillmansion.org, you can book directly on there. We usually do Friday nights and Saturday nights. Friday nights are 7 to 12 for $450, and Saturday nights are 7 to 2 a.m. Sorry, for $550. So we do. If people want to come during the week, we can work out. So just email us. We'll see what we can do. Like I said, we're a small group of volunteers, so we try to accommodate as much as we can. But Friday and Saturdays are usually our days that we're open. We do also have historical programming too. You can come and do a historical day tour when we can. It's all on our website, all our schedule and whatnot. In March 16th, we're having a historical reenactment with a whole bunch of reenactors. We actually have 18th century pirate reenactors that come and sing sea shanties. It's a great time.
That would be fun.
Whole bunch of vendors. May 11th, I believe, Mother's Day weekend, I believe it is. It's all on our website, but we're having another Paracon. We've got Katrina and Heather coming back along with some other people. So all of that, again, goes right back into the fundraising. And we do have public ghost hunts. A lot of different people come out and host them for us. So it's all on our website, easily to find. Google that stuff. Come out and visit. You will definitely won't be disappointed. It's a really awesome place. I mean, how often do you get to hang around in a 300-year-old house anyway? I mean,
yeah.
I'm from Massachusetts, so all the time.
Well, don't count Russ.
Okay, I'm in Minnesota. We don't get that. I don't know. I have to go to the East Coast for that. So what are like the main like hot spots in the house? If somebody's coming into the house for an investigation, where do you tell them to really focus on the most right now?
So we have a couple. I mean, the whole house can be active whenever it wants, but our main hot spots are the basement and the speakeasy, up in the attic, and on the second floor, the far bedroom. We call it the sick room. Those are our bread and butter, I guess, haunted hotspots. They seem to be the most active all the time. So, and they're each different in activity. So it's really, really cool.
Well, Kyle, you'll have to let me know because that event you were talking about with Katrina and all them.
Yeah.
What day is that again?
Oh, I believe, let me check my calendar. It is May 11th, Saturday.
May. Okay. All right. I'm only I just Googled it. I'm 4 hours away from you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know Brian Kano has a couple of events coming up.
Yeah,
Brian. I love Brian to death.
He's awesome.
I love how he's pulling like I don't want to say like pagan holidays, but that into the paranormal as well. Like you don't see many people doing that.
Yes.
Well, every time Brian's down in my area, because he does a lot at Oliver House.
Yeah.
I mean, Dustin Parry and Adam Berry were just at Oliver House last night. I didn't get a chance to go out and see them, but the last time Brian was at Oliver House, I went out and actually helped Christy like reset up the furniture and everything like that. So, you know, Kyle, have you ever made your way up the East Coast, up this way?
I've been up to Wilson Castle.
Okay, good place to go.
I've been to a couple other places up there. in that direction. Yeah, not as much as I'd like though. Hopefully,
Well,
more.
I help run 2 locations up here
Oh.
in Massachusetts, so definitely reach out. We can set something up for you.
All right, cool. We'll have to update you up.
Lexi says the sick room has a lovely doll.
So
dolls are great.
yeah,
I hate dolls. I hate dolls. I hate
So
them.
for the longest time, they're like the really old antique creepy dolls. Like all dolls are kind of creepy, but these ones are extra creepy. So we had a volunteer a couple years back who collected antique dolls, and she had a lot of overflow in her apartment. She couldn't fit. So when when it comes down to fall around Halloween time, we do like candlelight tours, tell the ghost stories for people who don't want to go full into the paranormal. So she was like, "Hey, do you want some of these dolls to put up for aesthetics? They're kind of creepy." We're like, "Sure, we'll take some." She gave us like 40 something dolls. And I'm like, that's kind of a lot. So we put a couple up. We took a lot of them down because we don't want to be known as the dollhouse, but there's a few remained. And the one that Lexi's talking about in the sick room, I don't know. It's people. We've done EVPs with it, and I've gotten responses from it. People put K2s next to it, and they're going off, and there's no electricity. So I can't explain it, but it's really cool. But every time somebody goes into that room and they see the doll, because it's sitting in this like little kid rocking chair, it looks creepy.
Yeah, I can just imagine it with in my mind. Like, no, I'm good. So
I'd love to see that.
What is the sick room? What was that used for? Was that like?
So that's on one side of the house that it had so many renovations, like I said, over the years. We don't know what it was used for, but there was some speculation that because it was a bedroom furthest away from the center of the house, that it was used as a sick room, kind of like a quarantine room in colonial time. But we don't know for sure. That's just one of our best guesses. And the name kind of stuck. And it's the easiest way to remember the room. So, but in there we get a lot of EVPs. That side of the house seems to be really active. We kind of think it might be like the older section of the house, if that makes sense. So we get a lot of EVPs. I've done a spirit box session in there. We put someone under Estes in the next room, and we were asking questions. And I asked, I forget, it was years ago. I asked, is there anyone here? And I think he said his name was Dustin. And I was like, that's a weird name to come from. I'm thinking colonial times or something, Dustin. And I'm like, Dustin, did you live here or work here? And he said volunteering like you. And I was like, that's interesting, because that was the first time I ever volunteered at White Hill. And I was like, okay, that's really, really interesting. Yeah. So we've got a lot of like really intelligent responses sometimes. So it's really cool.
That's when you have something that responds to you that's definitely connected to something personally, that definitely points out a definitely intelligent haunting.
Yeah, and even this weekend we had a group, and they were relatively new, and they were doing Estes, and somebody knelt down for a second, and as soon as they knelt down, somebody said "stand up," and their mind was like blown. So it's crazy sometimes the intelligence that we get.
So it kind of seems like they're playing a game of Simon Says over there.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. So, like, is there like pieces of equipment that you see that the spirits like to use the most?
So they've been responding crazy recently with spirit boxes. But I've noticed they love the music boxes and they love the tripwires.
Oh yeah, I love this.
So they've been using them up. I've put my paranormal tripwire on the top of the bar in the basement, and I was sitting at one end, and I said, "Hey, can you light up the third light from me?" Boom, it lit up, and I said, "Okay." I said, "Thanks. If you can do that, can you light up the next third one? So light up 6 lights altogether." Boom, it lights up.
Oh
6.
wow!
And I'm like, "Okay, that can't be. It can't be.
Yeah,
like
that can't be
possible."
Yeah.
They really seem to like that. I guess it may be easier for them to manipulate. I don't know, but maybe it's just something new. They're used to K2s and melody. They're like, oh, this is fun.
This is fun. This is new. Let's see what it does, type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I was just thinking of a question now. I can't think. How did like the paranormal come into White Hill? Was it like people who were volunteering before you guys picked up the paranormal, experiencing all this activity? Or
so Yeah, so the mansion sat vacant for a long time. Then the Friends group, which were a part of the Friends of White Hill Mansion, came along and started the project to save it. And it was a long, long project about 10 years ago to get it to where it's at now. And just our president, Dawn, she was also a paranormal investigator before she was the president of White Hill. She came and investigated White Hill. She was like one of the first people to get in there before it was even known. And she had some good experiences, fell in love with the place, kind of like everyone else does. And said, I really want to help this place, and we could.
Hey, honey,
we could really help raise some money through the paranormal. And eventually, it took a while to get the local town to get behind it, but that's kind of how it started. And just being in the house, I think when it was vacant for a long time, and then people started to come back in and get more excited about the project, about the house, it kind of woke things up a little bit. But I think there was always something happening there. I think because it's been there for 300 years and you've had people living there for more than that, there's always been something going on there. And I think that energy kind of stays, and they just want to stay and see what's new for White Hill.
Mm-hmm. Do you, like, when you guys are renovating, do you see that spike of activity that, like, a lot of people say happens?
Yeah. So we usually, I've been there twice when we've had renovations, and it seems to pick up for like a week or 2 weeks, and then it calms back down. The most recent thing we had, they just did another archaeology dig, and that kind of increased things for another 2 weeks. So it was kind of like higher activity, and then it just went back to its normal rate. It didn't go quiet, but it was like amplified for like 2 weeks. So I think there definitely is something to that.
Yeah, definitely. So for people who are coming in brand new, what is your biggest piece of advice for investigating the mansion? Like, I don't know, like what piece of advice would you give them? Not like the hot spots, but like piece of advice.
I would tell them, and I usually try to tell everyone, like, give it a little bit for the house to kind of get used to you. And equipment's cool, but just be in the environment and experience it, because sometimes that's when you have the coolest experience. And a lot of times at White Hill, they do play with the equipment, but you'll get that personal experience, that stuff that you can't document with equipment. That is just some of the coolest stuff. And for me, like, through what I've seen with different people come through, whatever you put out at White Hill, you get back. So if you come in there positive, respectful, wanting to have a good time, communicate with it, you'll get the same response back. If you come in there and you're kind of a jerk or whatever, you'll get that response back. You won't get as much activity. So they're just like us. They just want to interact with people who are cool. So I think
Russ, are you muted? Oh, we can't hear you, Russ.
Oh, I was muted.
Okay.
So I'm seeing a lot in the chat about like the White Hill weird and everything. So I've been in some pretty weird situations myself. Now, how weird are we talking? Like, what is the craziest thing that you've heard somebody say that you actually believed? Because people spout out some crazy things.
I've seen the craziest thing that I've personally seen. I've seen a full body apparition of a little boy during the day. That
actually answers a question in the chat right now. Is actually, have you ever seen an apparition at White Hill?
Yeah. So during the day, it was a history tour. Nothing with the paranormal. Everyone left. I went back in the house. I was by myself. I just wanted to shut a couple windows. Went to one of the rooms on the second floor. I came out, and there was like a 2 to 3 year old little boy standing in the hallway, just looking right at me. We made eye contact, and I just looked at him, and then he just poof disappeared. And it took me a while to register what happened. And I was like, oh wow. So that was probably the craziest thing to me. But in the attic, it gets really weird with shadow people and shadow figures.
Okay.
And it's usually like people, like I'm telling them, I'm like, listen, I don't understand what they are or what's up here, but if you sit up here for a while, sometimes you can kind of see them sometimes. And people are like, sure. And then they come out and they're like, they have that look. And I'm like, you saw it. It doesn't make sense. I know, because you can see them clearly in the dark room, like clear.
Now, have you had groups play like big band music or swing music or things like that actually elicit a response?
Yeah, a lot of times in the basement, if you play like swing music or even like German music, because it was a German restaurant, you
Of
get
course.
a lot of activity that brings out a lot of activity in the basement, because that was a bar for a long time. So
Okay, so thought process in my head, you guys should definitely look into doing like an Oktoberfest.
yeah, that's not bad. We used to have Roaring 20 fundraiser parties where people would come dressed up in the 20s.
That would be fun.
Oh yeah.
That's a good idea. I never thought about doing Oktoberfest. Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, German bar,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
might elicit a lot of responses, even though it's not warranted, but
Yeah, no, that makes sense. No, I never thought about that. Never even popped in my head. That's a good one. Yeah.
Just
you're
then,
welcome. I'll TM that, and I expect an invite.
Yeah. You got to bring your lederhosen though.
I definitely will. Trust me, I work with Spirit Halloween. They're
you
in
go.
no short supply.
oh yeah, I bet. Dustin says, "What is Kyle's favorite color?"
My favorite color is blue, Dustin.
Mine too.
Brian Kano says, "Beer and brats and booze. What more
Yes.
fun?"
Perfect. Sounds like
That
a
would
plan.
be perfect. Like honestly, that would be
That's on the poster, Russ. Beer,
yes.
brats, and booze.
Beer, brats, and booze.
And I think Brian wants an invite to that when that
Yeah,
happens.
Brian will be one of your featured guests.
There you go.
Yeah.
He'll be on the grill cooking the brats.
There you go.
John says, "Shut up, take my money. I would love an Oktoberfest fundraiser."
All right, Kyle, it's done. I'll help you any way I can.
All right.
We will set up an Oktoberfest.
Let's do it.
Oh my god, that would be fun. That would be fun.
That would be an absolute killer, no pun intended, but a killer time. Like,
Yes.
because I one of the locations I help run up here in Massachusetts is an old Civil War, World War I kind of
Mhm.
location, and we go in there. We did a Roaring 20s New Year's Eve thing.
Cool.
Which was fantastic because like we were just in there enjoying the time and we were hearing things everywhere.
That's
And we've done a bunch of different things, testing different, not functionalities, but experiments, I guess you could say. So, but yeah, like Lexi just said, the period bit, like,
yeah.
We have reenactors come out to our location all the time that were Civil War era, and it kicks up a lot.
It does. Yeah, when we did in March when we do our historical reenactment day, we did that last year or the year before for the first time, and the house was crazy active that night.
Oh yeah,
all kinds of stuff. I don't even know. I don't think anyone has ever done anything like that there. So it was cool.
Now, have you ever had anyone stay in the house overnight and actually make it a full night, or has
So
it kind of been a couple hours?
So usually no one sleeps there. I've done it once. I never slept, but I just stayed there awake. It was just creepy. Like it wasn't scary. It just had that like vibe of like somebody's watching me. I just can't sleep.
You get that eyes on you kind of feeling.
Yeah, like it wasn't like uncomfortable or like get out of my house feeling. It was just like, yeah, I'm here, and I'm like, I can't sleep.
Okay, hold. We just had something come up in the chat here. Brian just said that was something I'd like to do for some time for research. Now, what is that? Sleeping there or doing the beer, broth, and booze,
or the period bit,
or the period bit? Yeah, that's true. And Kristen, I'm sorry, not every location is scary. You just have to understand the location.
Brian wants to sleep there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Nick Groff slept there too. Nick and Katrina slept there. I don't even know why I was thinking that. Yeah, they slept there.
Okay, well, Brian can be number 2. Get a hold of Brian, and he can facilitate the research.
I totally forgot Katrina slept there. Yeah, Katrina slept up in the attic, which is crazy to me. I would never sleep up there.
That would, yeah.
Ever. I think Nick slept in a tub. He slept in our tub there.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's comfortable.
It's not. It's a big tub, but it ain't comfortable.
All right, Brian. Well, you're next up on the list to be able to sleep at White Hill.
There you go.
Sorry. talking to Rob of Get Haunted, trying to figure out if he has a day event coming to Right Hill, but their website's down, so I can't find out what.
Yeah, I don't. I think he has a date. I just can't remember off the top of my head. We just did the calendar a month ago, and I already forgot the whole thing. So I gotta look at it. So
You already
Yeah,
got
he's like-
volunteers here, Kyle. I mean, Dustin over here is saying I'll sleep there as long as Kyle signs an autograph.
man, I have to set up a table. Autographs first.
You got to get the headshots.
Yes, absolutely.
So you stated further, like, or it's not further, prior in the interview that you kind of came into the paranormal in an unconventional kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, I am a history buff myself. Like, that was one of the areas in high school that I excelled in.
Mm-hmm.
Are you after the conclusion that there is an afterlife, or are you after the conclusion of history through the afterlife can tie to actual happenings?
I think it's a little bit of both. So I think something happens after we die. Something remains. I think it's a choice. I don't think it's like we're trapped here. But then there's also
everybody watch out. I have a list.
I think there's also sometimes I feel like it's almost like the timelines are coming together for a second. Like almost like sometimes the 1700s and us are like, whoop, and we're, oh, wait a second. Did I hear someone? And it's our timeline kind of just coming in close. But I think it's two separate things, because I do think some of the paranormal is actually like traditional ghosts and spirits. But I think there's also some other stuff where it's timeline stuff. That's just my personal thoughts on it. So
no, and that's very valid.
In
Like
that area of New Jersey, is there like any UFO activity?
Cryptozoology. You got the Jersey Devil going on down there.
We got the Jersey Devil. I'm not sure about. I mean, I'm sure there's UFOs somewhere, but
well, there was actually just a video taken in Jersey of a UFO.
Well, there you go. I live here and I don't even know that. See,
I have to find it. I saw it on Facebook, but I'll have to find it. But yeah, there was actually a video from Jersey of a UFO hovering, and
oh wow,
well, quote unquote. I mean, we'll say that, but I mean,
I guess in Jersey we're so used to weird stuff. We're just like, oh, whatever. UFO.
That's Portland. Keep Portland weird, not Jersey. Jersey already has a mind of its own. All right.
But yeah, I think the Jersey Devil, I guess, would be your cryptid-y thing. That's really close to us. So
okay.
Kyle is the vibe.
Kyle is the vibe.
I try.
You definitely have a following going on in this chat.
I know it's kind of scary over there.
It is not scary. Those are just people giving you $5 for an autograph.
A lot of headshots over there. Let me count.
Hey, you know what? Just donate right back to White Hill.
Yep.
That's true.
You never know. You'll have a new toilet in no time.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh.
Or if you want to be like Rob from Get Haunted, you could have a really nice bidet installed.
Oh. We'll start with the running water first, and then we'll
we'll get there. We'll move up from there.
We'll start.
We'll move up. Over time, you'll get that fancy toilet like Rob does, and
we'll start small, but
start small, work your way up, just like Rob did. You know.
All right, Kyle. So I got a question here. So if you had, and you have self-admittedly said that you are in this for the history, and you do this for the historical purposes and things like that, not only for the paranormal side of things, because I know how, history peaks the paranormal side of things, tragedies, whatnot. If you could visit 4 places anywhere in the world, no expenses, nothing to worry about, where would you visit, historical or paranormal wise, that you could combine the two?
So definitely I would love to do for one of them way out in like Eastern Europe, like Transylvania, something like that. Something like
out in Romania, kind of Dracula's castle kind of thing.
Yeah. Like really old history. Definitely would want to hit. It's kind of the same, but like Scotland, Ireland area for one.
That would be mine. Yep.
All the castles.
Yeah, so that would be 2. I definitely want to get out west like the old ghost towns. For some reason, that's always been a vibe of mine.
I've been out there. I've been to Virginia
been there.
City.
Yep.
I've been to all
I've
those
been to
places. Yeah.
Fieldsboro, yep.
Yeah, they're definitely on my bucket list. And then I think somewhere over in like the Philippines, Japan, on that side of it, just to see a different kind of paranormal culture kind of thing. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, because different beliefs and different religions, different cultures have different views on the paranormal and the afterlife and things like that. So
I think that would be cool because you'd see, history throughout the whole entire world and different culture, everything. I think that would be like the perfect worldwide paranormal trip there.
Dustin just literally summed it up perfectly. Seeking serotonin road trip.
Yeah, that's more of a road trip. It's like a fly trip, air trip.
Unless you want to get in a boat and paddle. But all right. So my next question here. We got a couple minutes left. So this one's going to be a little bit harder for you because I want you to go right off the cuff on this one.
All
right. So you have to listen closely.
It's a lot of pressure, Russ.
It is. Well, I don't make it easy. All right.
No, he does not.
So you have to assemble a team of 5 investigators, living or dead.
Okay.
Fact or fictional.
Oh, that's easier.
To make a team, including yourself, so there'd be 6 people in total.
Okay.
To investigate any location you want. So name the 5 people and the location you would want to investigate.
Oh, God. This is tough.
Now I will tell you this. I've had people answer Scooby-Doo. I've had people answer Ed Warren, Lorraine Warren. Those people are bulked into one choice. So you could take a group and bulk it into one pick. So if you choose Ghost Hunters, you'd have Jason, Grant, Steve, Tango, everybody like that. That'd be one pick.
Man, I think the side chat.
I told you it wasn't going to be easy.
Side chat's killing me over here. I feel like I'm getting pressure over here.
Oh yeah, you are. We're already getting death threats over here.
Answer. All right, so I would definitely take Bethany there, or Brittany. She's my go-to paranormal investigator there, so that would be one. I think I would take Hans Holzer. That would be 2. I'd have to take Egon from Ghostbusters. Just have to. So that's 3. Man, this is a while. 3.
Like I said, it could be anybody, living, dead, fact, fictional, anybody.
I take my wife. She always keeps me out of trouble, so that's good.
No, you come in a group. She's your better half, I'm assuming. So that's a group. She doesn't count? No, she does not count. She comes with you.
All right. Damn. So 3. Trying to it's hard when you think about it because I know so many people, but I feel like I'm under the pressure here.
But it could be anybody. It could be Sherlock Holmes. It could be Jack the Ripper. It could be anybody.
Trying to think of a good one. Let's take RoboCop. I think he'd be helpful. So that's 4.
Okay. All right.
I think I would need
Jenny. It's always the last one that you get hung up on.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of. I think I would need a really good psychic. That ain't bad. I'll take Harry Houdini. That's good, John. I'm stealing his.
That's a debunker. That's a debunker.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So
right. Is that my team? Am I missing something?
That is your team.
Right.
You're going in the RoboCop, Harry Houdini. You're going in with Brittany. You're going in with you and your wife. You're going in with Egon. And you're going in with who was your other choice?
Harry Houdini.
No, I already said Harry.
I don't remember who the other choice was.
Well, you got your team set up, so good luck. And what would the place be you investigate?
Now you're gonna put him on double.
I probably would go
Right Hill.
I thought about that, but what's that place over in Italy? It was an island.
Pavia?
Yes, that's where I would
Doll Island?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, the last time I checked, RoboCop is, or dolls don't shoot. So I mean,
Well, if anything happened,
RoboCop's just gonna be stomping around the forest, knocking down trees.
I would be covered.
Possessed.
He popped right in my mind. So I said, you know what? We're rolling with it. I'm intentionally taking.
Oh, there you go. You got Holzer and John. You got Brian and John in the chat saying Holzer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who it was. That was the other person.
Hans Holzer?
Yep. That's who it was.
See, I've had people say Tesla. I've had people say
that would have been a good one too.
That would be really good, yeah.
Edison.
Yes, Tesla would have been a good one. I mean, Tesla or RoboCop. I'm still going with RoboCop.
Okay. I mean, fair enough.
Rob of Get Haunted sent me the dates for White Hill Mansion that Get Haunted will be at. February 24th is the first one, and then April 6th and June 15th.
There you go.
3 dates that Get Haunted will be there.
There you
Okay,
go.
well, April 6th is really close to my birthday. I may have to come down to the Get Haunted event.
I was gonna say you gotta go hang out with Rob and Sarah and
Danny and all them.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Kyle. So tell us how everybody can find you. Again, run down your rates real quick on White Hill. Hey, Taryn.
What's up, Taryn? So anyone who wants to find anything on White Hill, we're on Facebook, Friends of White Hill Mansion. We're on Instagram, White Hill Mansion. We're on TikTok, White Hill Mansion. Real easy. If you want to look at any of our events, book anything, private investigations, history tours, any of our events coming up for 2024, head over to whitehillmansion.org. And then if you want to find me, I'm on Facebook, Kyle Mangus, and then I'm on Instagram and TikTok as Kyle.Whitehill.
Awesome. Well, hopefully I'll see you and come out and visit.
Yeah, definitely.
This year or early next year. Who knows?
Yeah, just message me. We'll get you guys in there somehow.
Definitely.
I've already talked to my my group that I come down from Gettysburg.
Okay.
From Massachusetts to Gettysburg, and they're like, "Yeah, we're in."
Cool. Yeah, let me know. We can figure something out. I mean,
definitely.
I'm only 5 minutes away from the place, so it's not a problem. So
I don't care. I don't want to investigate. I just want to come see the property and see,
yeah. I want to come and do photos, like photography.
There you go. Yeah, just message me. We'll get something done.
Because
fantastic.
So, well, thank you again, Kyle, for coming on. I'll definitely have to get you on my other podcast as well, and I bet you Russ would get you on his other podcast as well. Okay.
Cool. Yeah,
yes,
thank you
guys.
Thank you guys for having me on. It's great. Had a blast.
Yeah, have a great night. We'll talk to you very soon.
You too. See you guys.
Thanks, Kyle.
Bye.
So that was Kyle of White Hill Mansion. Great guest. Great location. I want to check out. This coming weekend, next Friday and Saturday, I will be at the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
All right. Well, I guess I'm the only one now. I guess Jenny's internet cut out. So Jenny will be at the Bell Mansion for the not Get Haunted, but the 28 Days Haunted reunion, I guess you could say.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right. Welcome back.
My internet's being stupid. It keeps saying I'm disconnected.
All right. Well, you're going and rolling with some pretty heavy hitters here this weekend.
That I am super excited. So come out, see me. Next Sunday, Russ will be live with his friend Ian. Right?
Yep, Ian and I will be talking about a plethora of things.
Toilet talk.
No. We're going to be talking about men's mental health and the paranormal, not even just paranormal, just in general. Also, how social media affects the paranormal itself. There's going to be some interesting topics brought up, so that's for sure. Taryn, I will see you in Gettysburg. Trust me, I will come straight for you.
I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you now. So next week we have Ian Murphy coming up, and then
live?
We are live. I'm pretty sure. Yes, we are.
Are we still live?
Yes, we are live. Jenny, listen to me. We are live. Hello, Earth to Jenny.
I don't know.
We are live.
Are we still live?
Anyways,
Hello.
January
I don't know
28th,
if
we
it's
have
still
Lauren
live. If you
Hellickson's
can hear
coming
me,
on.
the following Sunday on the 28th, we will have. Oh, nope.
Jenny, you're live.
I'm not live. It says I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're Lauren Hellickson. I'm butchering the name. February 4th, we have Eloise Asylum.
We will have
So.
Lauren Helkison on. Super, super excited. I don't know. My end says we're not live, so I'm just gonna quickly go through this. 28th, we will have Lauren Helkison, who is the creator of the Crystal Ram Pods on. Can you hear me, Russ?
I can hear you. You are live.
Okay, good. Because on my end it says I'm not live, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. And then the following week of the first Sunday of February, we have Eloise Asylum on with the owner of that amazing location out in Michigan. We still have our Unturned pages pre-order open, $20 shipped. Message us on Facebook and we can get you added to the list.
Yes, definitely, guys. Definitely look at our merch. We have hoodies, t-shirts, everything available. You know, your guys' purchase to help our podcast helps us be able to bring you every week great guests, great programming, everything. So, you know, definitely get your pre-orders in. And I tell you what, I have one. Jenny has one. They are great material. They are amazing choice. So,
yep.
I mean, definitely get your orders in.
These t-shirts will be new. They're different. Producer Rob of Get Haunted is working with us to get us on the cheaper end of for customers.
Never say cheaper. It's quality.
It's quality, better quality, because this I don't like very well. I don't like this quality. But Rob is doing amazing things for us. Super excited to see what we all come up with for products this year.
And just so you know, we're not pocketing money from the t-shirts. What we're doing is we're actually taking the money that we actually recoup from the t-shirts and the sales and actually putting it right back into our StreamYard, our advertising, everything like that. So yes. You guys helping us helps us.
Yes. Speaking of Get Haunted, they have a couple great events coming up. New Egypt in New Jersey, January 27th. And then they have their first Warren's artifact.
Devil on the Run
with some of the haunted items that the Warrens have had.
No Annabelle, but the Shadow Doll is.
Shadow Doll. I'm glad I'm not going to be at that one.
That Shadow Doll really messed with me. Yeah,
that Shadow Doll was creepy, and I don't like it. But it's at the haunted Shanley Hotel. So if you're in that area, I think they just opened a second date to it.
They did.
If you're in Minnesota or like the Hudson area of Wisconsin, February 17th, I will be at this event in downtown Stillwater. It's a witchy pagan event, so I'm super excited for. And then if you're in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, that surrounding area, in May is the Penhurst Paracon. I know that Project Fear will be at. I believe Jack Osmond will be at. Is what I've heard. Not quite sure yet. Check that one out. And then one of our favorite events of the year of mine and Russ's is the Gettysburg Bash. Super excited.
Oh, you can't say favorite one. You've been there once.
It's really fun. I like it.
Hey, Rich.
It's in the most haunted city of the U.S., so I'm happy with it.
One of the most
haunted cities, yes.
But yes, Gettysburg is actually going to be a great event this year. It's at a new hotel this year. It's going to be a bigger layout. A lot more stuff going on. We have wrestling this year. They're actually getting an actual wrestling ring.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be fireworks. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be an escape room. There's going to be a bunch of different things. So this is something for the whole family. It's going to be a great time. There's always some great speakers. Aaron Sager's coming back. Dave Schrader's coming back. We actually are adding John Zaffis this year.
Super
Uncle
excited.
Johnny will be there.
Uncle Johnny, my Johnny, Uncle Johnny.
You know, so we have a great lineup of people coming. That, you know, there's, you know, someone on that you may notice, but you
Are you
know,
trying to find you?
no. I
Oh.
was trying to look and like I thought that said Bishop Long, but no, that's Daniel Clace. So I haven't.
And then,
I knew I was on the flyer. I don't even have to give it to Steve and Pam anymore. I know I get tossed on immediately. So, but I go through this every weekend, and the guys, this is helping quite a few locations. The paranormal weekend experiences for the House of Hurt and Pain here in Abington, Massachusetts, as well as the Heart Stuff Hall in Rockland, Massachusetts, which are literally 10 minutes up the street from each other. There's some great locations going on there. Very well priced. So you can get 2 locations and have some great times. Wilson Castle, 50th annual bash at the castle coming up on October 26th. Some great time up there. I've been up there twice now, I believe, and always been a good time up there. Also, the East Coast Para Expo. We definitely try to mix things up here up in Massachusetts. We're not a convention. We bring light to the smaller people, the ones that are in the shadows. So we try to shine a little bit more light on them.
and our amazing sponsors, Warner Paranormal Preservation Society, Enchanted Awakenings, Expedition Entity, and Get Haunted.
Also, Get Haunted can't do anything without you know, Danny and Rob and Sarah.
Yes.
You know, they're kind of the they're helping us push our platform, and definitely love them to death, and great people. So definitely check out Get Haunted if you haven't done already, which I'm hoping everybody listening has.
Yeah. If you don't know yet, we are on Spotify. Go check us out.
We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on.
Yes.
Are we on Apple yet?
Apple, I believe we are.
Okay. iTunes,
Radio, Google Podcasts, Audible, everything and anywhere you can find us. I don't think the only one that we're not on is Podbean, because that costs money, and I just don't want to deal with that.
Okay, yeah. So if you don't want to look at our ugly faces all day or an hour a night, just toss on the podcast. I mean, listen to it on the way to work. And
when you go to Spotify, make sure you click follow, because you'll stay updated with all new episodes. Not only this show will be on it, Whispers Within with me and Candy will be on it. Compass of Curiosities, Russ's other show, will be on that as well. So it'll be all 3 shows on that platform.
We're creating an empire here, people. Get on board or get off.
Yep. Get, like Sarah says, get haunted or go home. So get with us or go home.
Yeah, so all right, guys. So next week, Ian Murphy. Definitely want to check him out. He is actually, quote unquote, the moderator. So he is definitely a good time. Always a good conversation with Ian. But you know, again, thank you guys so much for coming out and listening to another episode. You guys are absolutely amazing. Much love to all you guys, and you guys out there in the Midwest, stay safe with those cold temperatures and that snow.
Yeah. Minnesota doesn't have much snow. I got a dusting compared to Iowa and Illinois and Wisconsin. Got like 29 inches. So I'm nice and nice. I'm happy without the snow, but the cold weather can go back to Alaska, as far as I know. So you all have a great night. We'll see you back next weekend.